complete. Not even one of the 15 completed. Not one. And it goes to the fact that this is a minister. He fails in agriculture. He fails in small businesses. He fails in the creative economy. He fails in sport. I remember the World Cup. He came here. He was on Win FM. I remember because I had an interview. I had a sit down with him while I was the host of ILNT. And I questioned him about St. Kitts and Nevis not being a part, not bidding to host the World Cup games. And he said that he would be focused on renovations. He talked about the state and the condition of our sporting facility. I mean, he hasn't completed any renovations yet. Right. And when you look at the fact that there are Caribbean countries who benefited greatly from the World Cup, and St. Kitts and Nevis did not get the chance to benefit like the other Caribbean countries, and that is sad. That is very, very sad. And it speaks about the short-sightedness of the minister, not being able to see that these events or events like these help to push the economy, help to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis is on the international stage. And so he continues to fail. Look at it. Our athletes. Carifta is coming up. They're supposed to be able to have been training and focusing to become the best version of themselves.
Correct.
To represent St. Kitts and Nevis.
And the spin-offs from this, there is the hotel industry that will get extra revenue. The guys on the street who sell peanuts, sugar cake, the vendors in the park will get additional revenue. There's a lot of spin-offs for the country. In addition to that, the international recognition. But for me, the more important part at this point in time is because our economy is the way it is, people could get a little breathing space, a little money in their pocket, the ability to take care of the family, you know? And when you lose these sorts of opportunities, the effects are major.
Yeah, and the thing about it, when you look at the cricket gets, millions of people viewing
worldwide.
Unlike any other sport, cricket attracts a viewership like no other.
Yes.
Look at it. If we had those games played in St. Kitts and Nevis, look at how many people will have been viewing St. Kitts and Nevis. They will have, a lot of persons still don't know about us. And so it would be an opportunity for those persons to learn about St. Kitts and Nevis, some industry, big areas. Yeah. And it is a sad shame that the Minister of Sports was so short-sighted that he didn't even think about bidding.
It's free fall. We're in free fall at this point in time. We're in free fall. And instead they could go, and they have it good, you know, because instead they could go and ask Douglas, hey, what you did the last time in, I don't know if it was 2013, when we got the World Cup games here. Tell us what you did. Tell us how to go about it. But nobody wants to ask him and nothing, it seems like.
Again, labor, there's usual labor. And people are saying that come the next election, they want no labor. They want no labor.
And you can't vex with them. You cannot vex with them at all.
And the thing about it, when you look at what other persons, what other Caribbean countries are getting or have gotten from it, St. Kitts and Nevis, sadly, we missed an opportunity like no other. An opportunity like no other. It is a shame. It is a shame. Because we are thinking, we are here, we don't have anything that is stimulating the economy. And every chance that we get to stimulate the economy, the Labour government, the Labour administration drops the ball.
Well, and when you look at it, for me, it should go even a bit deeper. Because let's say under Kennedy Simmons' administration, things were slow. Just using an argument, things were slow. But Kennedy Simmons put things in place to make sure that 40 years later, it started to bear fruits. Seeds were planted 40 years ago, and at this point in time, they're bearing fruits. Things that Bradshaw did in the past, when he took back lands and made them crown lands and did different things. Fortifications and divisions, they're bearing fruits all now, sir. And even come forward to all their other administration, Douglas, Timothy Harris, But this one here, you can't see nothing happening at all. No seeds planting. So it's a long-term investment. There's no short-term investment. There's no long-term investment. There is a total lack of foresight when it comes to what we need here to progress here in St. Kitts.
Yeah, and when you look at it, this is it, the economic impact of the World Cup cricket the men's tournament, the T20. And it says Barbados, US dollars, 426.4 million.
Wow.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 224.8 million. St. Lucia, and this is St. Lucia, St. Lucia, 132.5 million. Antigua and Barbuda, US 114 million. Guyana, US 76 million. Trinidad and Tobago, US 68.9 million. You know, St. Kitts and Nevis, 0. Thanks to the short-sightedness of this Labour administration and the Minister of Sports, Samuel Duggins. 0.
And those things should be penciled in. Listen, we want every opportunity to make a US dollar, and we're going to fight and get it, because what it would mean for St. Kitts and Nevis, either short term or long term. And so every available opportunity to host a game, or our youths or our youngsters to travel overseas to participate in games, it shouldn't even be a question. It's let's go and get it at all costs, because the economic impact, the impact on our tourism, the impact in our local economy, the impact for our local vendors, it is astronomical.
And the thing about it, when we look at the opportunity, right, we're not getting the Olympics here. We're not getting any World Cup basketball or any World Cup football. We had the opportunity to get World Cup cricket. And we dropped the ball because of Samuel Duggins and his short-sightedness.
Well, in his defense, he could say, well, it ain't me, it's all us. But you're using me alone. It ain't only me one. It's the whole gang. The whole gang.
And so you look at the fact that he has signed a MOU, and I mean, it's a song and dance. It's a photo opportunity.
Like everything else.
And nothing coming out from that.
Like everything else. I'm struggling to find a major project that had any major impact after all these years. Nothing. And it's just excuses. When they're bringing this stuff, well, Unity did this, and so right now we're struggling. Well, Timothy Harris did this, and so right now we're struggling. It's always an excuse. You took the job knowing what was in play. You took the job knowing that, hey, listen, things tough. You took the job knowing all the different factors and elements of St. Kitts and Nevis. And at this point in time, there is no results, there is no answers, and it's just all excuses.
And they want to toot. And then let's go back to the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium, because they want to say that nothing was done under the Team Unity administration, in which Pam was a part and which we had 2 sports ministers. But here is Sean Richards stating on their Facebook post, perhaps you should seek to find out the truth instead of coming here with lies and misinformation about the stadium being neglected. During my tenure, an entire building was constructed to accommodate the athletes, and it's there for all to see. The construction never impeded the hosting of the meets. Work was done on the main pavilion, including installation of seats to restore worn and missing ones. The stand bleachers on the eastern end were outfitted with bucket seating also. An entire capital project had been secured to do additional work, but COVID forced this to be placed on hold. Rather than peddling lies to cover up the incompetency or the incompetence of the government, you should hold them accountable. Governments find comfort when people like you and the rest of society find a way to justify their behavior. That is what the Dr. Sean Richards said on the Facebook post. And of course, he makes the point that there were renovations under him at the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium, and he was able to meet with the day-to-day challenges, the renovations, without having to postpone the meet.
And meet
All,
the deadlines.
yeah, all other administration, all other ministers of sports have able to do that one thing at least.
Yes.
And then when you look at the fact that he speaks about a capital project that was already secured for the Kim Collins, and we know what happened. COVID came. COVID showed itself at the end of 2019, and you know, he was Minister of Sports then. And then we had 2 years, almost 2 years, where COVID would have affected us significantly.
Yes, globally.
Yes. And so I think that a lot of these defenders of mediocrity have a very short sight and short memory, because more would have been done had it not been for COVID. And so we are not on the COVID anymore. And still it's as though we are, based on the performance of this administration. Things slower than we are on the COVID.
Well,
Things not happening new beyond.
I won't
People
even-
fed up.
I won't even call them defenders of mediocrity, because if you look at them, some of them got their own podcast views in. So I have a job, but I'm still disgruntled. My job is to provide some distraction from the truth.
Yes.
And so, but I'm still upset. I still ain't seen what I need to see. And even though we call ourselves comrades and one family and what's not, whatever they might want to call themselves, they're still abusing on a day-to-day basis. You listen to them in a little corner, and some of them ain't even in a little corner. Some of them publicly abusing.
Yes.
You know? And so, you give me a job to sing happy birthday, and so I sing the happy birthday. But at the end of the day, I come in and telling you, you ain't performing.
And you look at the persons who I call defenders of mediocrity. If you look at them closely, a lot of them are benefiting under this administration. They are benefiting severely. Some of them sit on boards. Some of them are advisors. And so it is their role, they feel it is their job to defend even the undefendable, even mediocrity. So if it is that this Minister of Sports failed to deliver on his promise year after year, they're going to defend it. Right. Why? Because they don't want to touch their own livelihood. So the others, the majority of us must suffer from the incompetence of the minister, and they must defend him.
Well, well, once you're benefiting, that's how that they're going to work at the end of the day. That is how it would function. That's how we're going to play out. Because if you're benefiting, then you're benefiting. But what about the masses? What about the oath that you took, country above self? What about the oath that you took to make sure that poor people better off? What about the oath that you took that when you take this thing, you're going to leave it better than you met it at the end of the day? And so it's all about self and none of we at the end of the day.
Yes. And this administration, and what they'd like to do, they'd like to distract. So they come and they try to attack the People's Action Movement. They try to cause division. They try to put leader against leader, said this and said that.
Yes.
When the People's Action Movement is alive and well, strong. I mean, the People's Action Movement under the leadership of Natasha Shani Gray Brooks is building. Yes. We are building at a rate that even those outside, even the Labour Party is now looking at the People's Action Movement and is trying to create division, confusion, because they are afraid that a strong opposition would mean the end of their tyranny.
Well, that is what it is. With Labour's performance at this point in time, once Labour does not win this next election, Labour is guaranteed 20 years at least out of government. 20 years at least out of government, because they are doing nothing. Nothing at all. When I'm telling you, it's zips, not zero. They are doing nothing. Nothing. And it ain't, and to compound the situation even worse, nobody listening. Nobody listening to nobody. Nobody, I know it all and me ain't listening to nobody.
I could tell you that they don't listen to themselves because Thursday coming, I deemed it as the day of hot air. You want me to tell you why I deemed it as the day of hot air? Thursday, 3rd April 2025? Because I saw in circulation on Facebook, the social media, 2 conferences happening. Samuel Duggins, 9:30 in the morning, and then the Prime Minister, round table, 1 o'clock. And I said, that's a whole day of hot air. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. And I said to myself, you mean to tell me both of them are in Nigeria, knocking glass together, and they couldn't nudge the other and say, well, we got in the press conference on the 3rd. I got in my own table on the 3rd too. It's like they didn't know. To the point that the Prime Minister then, in a subsequent announcement, placed his round table the 2nd of April. So it's as though these ministers of government, they're outside parading on the country's expense, and they're not communicating with each other.
But you know, that has never happened in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis, where the ministers of government just traveling the world. But what about the PS them? They don't get a chance to travel. What about the technocrats them? Is only the government ministers could attend workshops? What about the technocrats them? What about the PS? What about the directors? What about all them other people?
You want me to tell you something, Newburn? Sometimes I look at government headquarters and I say to myself, Lord, those persons who are in offices must be rather bored, because they are not getting a chance to develop themselves. They're not getting a chance to travel and to represent St. Kitts like before. It's only the ministers of government.
Yes.
Only them, and they might bring their members, but they too, they must be there.
Correct.
You understand?
Right.
Before they had technocrats. You have opportunities to go out and advance, because not only the minister is responsible to show that St. Kitts and Nevis is capable of doing certain things through discussions. You have technocrats in there.
Yes.
They don't even get the opportunities, many of them.
They don't, because once a workshop, a conference shop, you put them in them, book your ticket, book your flight, book your hotel, and you're going to enjoy yourself. What about what's happening here on the ground, which is your responsibility? Not only the responsibility to the government headquarters, but what about the responsibility to your constituents? Because when you spend so much time up in the air, who's dealing with what's on the ground?
Well, I could tell you in constituency number 4, Samuel Duggins is like he doesn't think, or he doesn't see himself as the representative for 4 anymore. He is missing in action. In fact, before he became the minister, you couldn't get Samuel out of constituency number 4.
Well, probably they are representative for American Airlines.
You couldn't get him.
Yeah.
You understand? You couldn't get him out of number 4. Now you don't even see him. You don't even see him often in the constituency.
All around the country, that is the same plight. Everybody.
And when you see him, he's making photo ops because he wants persons to see, okay, he's doing something, even though he's doing very little.
Yes.
You understand? And so one would have hoped that constituency number 4 would have been booming with development, bustling.
Yeah.
but
it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, it's quite the opposite.
Right. Yeah, something needs to be done. And a lot of times we depend on this person to come and save us. We want that person to come and save us. When we are our own hero, we need to go and save ourselves from that, because nobody put us in that. We put ourselves in that. We put ourselves in that squarely. So we need to correct the wrong at the end of the day.
And I could tell you, we have a caller. Caller, could you make sure that the monitor is on? Okay. Caller?
Hello?
Hi. Go.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. I could hear you.
Yeah, this is Eustace Maynard.
Yes, Eustace. How are you?
I'm doing great. Not too long tuning, and I think it's a very important program. And for the time I've listened, you would have touched on, especially in reference to sports, which, is my thing, and especially the World Cup and the Kim Collins Stadium which I think I'll probably touch on these two very important topics, because we have a government that definitely do not understand what is important to our country. They understand what is important to them, to themselves. But when it comes to what is important to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, this government have no clue in terms of what is taking place. Imagine the World Cup, as you rightfully mentioned, brought in over $1 billion, into the Caribbean. And you're talking about in terms of U.S. currency, over $1 billion. Barbados over $400 million. You know what that could have done to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis? Not only in terms of the revenue itself, but down the road in terms of the benefits, because it would have put St. Kitts and Nevis on the world stage, giving many of our business people, especially our sportsmen, the opportunity to shine, and that could have brought many. I'm telling you, the kind of benefits that St. Kitts and Nevis would have benefited. We can't count these kind of dollars. But this jokey government that we have, I mean, I think you probably need words to have to invent words to describe what we have in Church Street. I mean, yes, I understand that. I know the Labour Party is bad, but I do not expect it to be so bad. This is what we have in now. What we have in now. I mean, you'll be shocked to the person who would have said to me just about 2 weeks ago. You'll be shocked to know who would have said to me that what we have in Church Street, what we have now in Church Street, yeah, you wouldn't believe what the person would have said and who would have said it. But there are people who are joining the chorus in terms of they have to go. The default government, you know, they got there by default. Normally when you change the government because the government did not perform. That wasn't the case in 2022. They only got in because of circumstances in the country which St. Kitts and Nevis did not need any change, you know. Because St. Kitts and Nevis at that time, we had just about almost the best economy in the Caribbean. But I would not get into certain things, but I think I will leave that for another time. In reference to the Kim Collins Stadium, I want you all to investigate. Honestly, when the government started the renovation on the Kim Collins Stadium, that is what I want you all to investigate. Because they come in with the foolishness and the nonsense thinking that they really can fool people. A meet was postponed.
Could you wrap up a bit? We have another caller. We love your contribution because you're asking and saying things of that people are feeling as well.
Right.
We have another caller.
Yeah, good evening, man. How you doing, Lazar, man, and your guest there, Nubian?
Yes. Good
You
evening.
hear me clear, right?
Yes, Nubian is here.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm asking of Nubian tonight because I notice he's being more visible. We in the general public want to know if he's going to be going up and putting his name on the ballot in the next election, and where is his affiliation would lie, if he will be an independent if he do take that decision. And there's a protest that went on at Sandy Point as we're talking about the ministers of overseas, and they have to pay attention to what's going on in the constituent. Such thing as that protest Do they really care why there's a protest in Sandy Point?
Say that again, Carlo.
You know,
What
what
is
trick,
the
what,
point?
There's
I
a what?
understand that there was a protest down in Sandy Point.
A process?
Oh, a protest
Oh, yesterday, I believe it.
Yes.
yesterday. Yes.
Yeah. Such an incident, do the leaders, the ministers, and do they really care about what's going on in their constituency? Their constituency, whatever.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm paying close attention to the MSR thing, right? And I realized that the guy, Philippe Martinez, he was on a podcast Wednesday of this week. He said that he has all the information concerning bank statements and stuff like that of persons in the Federation and elsewhere. My question to you, Azard, as the public is yearning for such information, and you're a lawyer, right? Can anybody in the Federation try to get their hands on those documents? Is that document public documents? Were those documents released to our government before?
Well, bro, it is in the hands of the court. I mean, it didn't go to trial. They would have had their reason. Based on my knowledge, the matter was withdrawn. I don't know for whatever reason. Certain applications before its trial would be more or less private, in the sense that only the parties involved would be aware of certain applications, and those persons in the court would be aware too, because you have to file it on the portal. But the portal and those matters before the trial and before a judgment is given, the judgment becomes public. But those other matters, they are uploaded on the portal, the court portal, and only those persons with access to the authorization code would actually see what has been uploaded.
But this has been such a saga for the Federation, right? Me personally speaking, our leaders have mismanaged all the monies that they collected from that CBI program. And then therefore, all of those persons who involved during that time period, the people should keep them out of office. We need some independent persons to come up and put their name on the ballots for the next election.
Well, bro, I could tell you that the People's Action Movement, there will be selection and announcement of candidates shortly. And so our party is doing what it needs to do to ensure that we are ready to take the reins of government come the next general election, because we are a party that put people first, we are people centered, people focused, and we only want the best for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay, so that's what I want to hear, man, because the time is rapidly approaching.
Yes, and our political leader knows that as well.
You just got to be. I'm just encouraging you guys to be ready, man.
Yes.
And Nubian, man, come on, man. If you have such an interest, why don't you get back in the ring and put your name on the ballot, man? But make that announcement ASAP if you're deciding to do that. Don't keep the people in suspense, man.
No, I'm not keeping them in suspense. Very shortly, I'll be making my announcement. But what I can say for now is that I will be contesting the next general election. We're just working out some logistics.
We have another caller, bro. We have another caller.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
so
man.
thank you for your contribution. Caller? Caller, we encourage you to call back. Mr. Maynard, apologies for that. Your call ended abruptly, and apologies for that. Your contribution was well received.
Caller, we encourage you to call back.
Could you turn down your radio?
Yes. Good night. I wish Mr. Jones did not hang up. I was trying to join the call. But
Go ahead.
good night, Brother Azar.
Good night.
Good
Good
night,
evening.
Brother
Good
Azar.
evening.
And good night to the other colleague there. Is that Brother Nubian?
Yes.
Good night to one and all the listeners.
Yes,
Nubian, I'm not afraid to announce my name, because my name is precious and it shall be known throughout the ends of the earth. It is a pleasure to allow me, Mr. Winston, welcome to join in the conversation. Some things that might be contrary to the party, but this is my rule of thumb. Azard, I love you. Okay?
Thank you.
Nubi
Thank
and I
you.
love you.
Yes,
We
sir.
are all humans. Mr. Azad, you
Yeah.
are a strong advocate for justice for mankind, not just St. Kitts and Nevis. Okay?
Thank you.
And we walk the same line in terms of our utterance and promises to the people. So that's my rule of thumb there. That's my headline. Now, I have a strategy for this election and for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
I believe, apart from all the existing parties that are in the mix, proposed to be in the mix of this upcoming election, I think we need independence because I personally do not believe one party should run the federation. Okay? We have to be idealistic, we have to be adaptable and adjustable, and we sing the same song because no one, no candidate will be walked offline to the next. So we should have diverse candidates, and in terms of party or residency. Okay?
Okay, caller.
So I cannot hand on to a one party because see what happened to Labour. Okay? See what happened to Labour. A one party rule and all the opposition, either they fought with the existing party or they're sitting on a bench like a dog wag its tail and can't do a damn thing. So for that reason, independence. Okay? And nothing is wrong with that. But the people of St. Kitts, I don't think they have the knowledge. St. Kitts and Nevis have the knowledge to know if they are a born citizen and if they have a dream of good on the for the masses. And
We
all
have
I'm
another
talking
caller.
about-
Caller. We have another
All
caller.
right.
Thank you so much
Let's
for your
try it.
contribution. Thank you for your contribution. Caller, you're live?
Yeah, I wanted to get back in when I called this on, man. You said you wanted to
It's,
join
it's,
the call.
only,
But
it's
anyway,
only one call at a time, bro. One call at a time.
come on, Azad, man. Where's the conference calls, man? You know how it goes in this digital world, man.
Yes, one call at
But
call
anyway,
at
man,
a time.
I just want to say to Nubian, I'm thankful that I was able to pull that bit of information out of him that he's going to go up in the next election. For me, I just want to put it out there real quickly before you guys get off. I've been pushing an independent movement because I've seen the need for it. All our recycled politicians have failed the country with all that money they got with the CBI, and they don't have St. Kitts and Nevis in the progressive position that we're supposed to be. So I've started encouraging the independent-minded persons to come forward because AZARD,
Yes.
we know Pam's going to do his thing, but we need persons to also be independent and come in and put their names on the ballot. That way, we can increase our chances of moving this government out the way.
But you know, bro,
So
if you
all
have,
the independent persons
if you
out
have,
there,
if you
I'm
have,
just encouraging them to come forward.
yes, but bro, let's look at it. So, I mean, I'm not against persons running independent, but you know, the more persons running in a constituency may be more advantageous for the Labour Party.
That's what I'm driving. That's what I'm driving at. We're gonna split up the votes.
Okay, bro. Thank you for your
All right,
contribution.
we leave it there, man. I'm just encouraging other independent-minded person to come forward. Thanks
Yes.
a lot, man.
Thank you so much. Yes. And so it is clear that the People's Action Movement is doing what it needs to do in terms of getting ready. We have our convention on the 1st of June. We have another caller. Caller, you're live on Unfiltered.
In terms of getting ready, we have our convention on the 1st of June. We have another caller. Yes, Mr. Azad, it's I again.
Yes.
I did not finish my point, but I could understand there are other callers
Yes.
to join. But I'm not done, so I will continue to try.
Okay.
The point I was making, the point I am making, and I need it to be clear, and I need it to be understood and get out there. Look, everyone who is qualified, due to the fact they are a petitioner and a division, it doesn't matter. There will be a chance for Labour. We all know what Labour did. We all know what PLP did. We all know what Tam did. And this is something not to remember. Let us look at the good they do and look at the bad they did. The past is still haunting us today. Okay? And the way you govern, state your claim. So it doesn't matter candidate who is qualified to enter in any constituency. Let the mass come in. Some votes will be reduced from some. And we cannot put up the cold shoulder of depriving, oh, this is going to affect here, this is going to affect here. Let the chips fall where they may. Let us have a fair, free election. It's democratic. Now, coming to the other part that my colleague mentioned, okay? I am reaching out to Philip Martinez, whether there is a gag order or a deal. Mr. Martinez, take my number if you're listening to Win FM. I will like to get all those bank transactions pertaining to St. Kitts and Nevis. I will like to see them, and I will like to make a case from them. You have done a great job. Okay? I with you 100%, Mr. Martinez. 347-460-8192. Please give me a copy of those files, because those files cannot be kept secret. It is public. I need it to be public, and we need to know what our representative officials doing. If they were kleptocrats, if they were criminals, if they robbed the country, we need those monies. And for your work, you should be rewarded. You have done a wonderful job, and I will not change it or yield for someone else. We need those records. The public need those records. No cover-up to whom it may concern. Thank you for hearing me. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Yes, indeed, there are so many people interested in contesting the next general election because Labour is doing such a poor job at managing the affairs of this country that so many people are willing to put themselves up for election to ensure that Labour is removed.
Yeah, I mean, like for me personally, I have children. I have family, I have friends, lots of friends, who we must be able to leave a good St. Kitts for them. I must be able to leave a good St. Kitts for my children. My children are in private school. I want to send my children back to public school. But if anything happened to my children, I don't want to always have to resort to sending them to America. I want a good JNF that my kids could go to. I want safer streets for my children. I want better sport clubs, healthier sport club, better environment for my children. You know, and this is not it. This is not it at all. And so, in order for my kids to have a safe environment, I can't wait on somebody to do it. I have to go out and do it. And in fixing it for my children, fix it for everybody's children. When my children finish with school, are they expected to go to college and then off to university? What about those families that can't afford to send their children to university? Where the opportunity is going to come from?
Yes.
You know? And so everybody just feels stifled. Everybody in one chokehold by 50,000. One man got 50,000 people in a chokehold. One man got 50,000 people in a chokehold.
Yes.
And that can't work.
I am wondering, I mean, Samuel Duggins last week, you know, it's been failure after failure highlighted. And then Mr. Duggins is now hosting a press conference. I guess he's trying to save face in what disaster he has done so far. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Unfiltered.
In what disaster he has done so far. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on.
Caller?
In what
Just turn on your radio.
disaster he has done so far. We have a caller. Caller, you're live.
Yes, Mr. Azard, like I said, I will continuously get my point across. So let me move forward. But I'm here for every other caller too. First come, first serve. Mr. Azard,
Yes.
you just insult the general public and the listeners.
Why you say that?
You shouldn't be calling someone's name in your mouth, you know, because that's a damn waste of time. Okay? Waste of time. Listen, my mission with this big talk about Tabasco peppers is to throw up all of them and find something else which is substance to the federation. We could bring back some sugar cane for subsistence, because sugar cane juice is very, very, very vital, nutritious, and very diversive. Okay? So we should not have ever even think of getting rid of all the cane fields. That is my take in respect to
Even if you think
something
about
other
the
than
Tabasco,
First of all,
you look at the
I'm not
Tabasco.
alone.
Who's going to lease those lands? Are those lands going to be leased and utilized for the growing of tobacco by kitchens and divisions?
Well, hear this. I am not into Tabasco, because I'm telling you, Tabasco burn your ass like you have hemorrhage. Okay? And I'm not for that. I don't know if anyone else interested in that. But Tabasco pepper is not something that we should have been investing into in terms of there are other stuff. Okay? I wish that our government could take a page from Burkina Faso. Because from where they were and from where they are, moving forward for the best. Okay? Burkina Faso is an African country that can give an example. Okay? I'm jumping all over the place. Because our leaders has gone to Nigeria.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying they don't have nothing of substance, but I hope they bring back something of substance that will benefit the federation.
But when the Prime Minister comes, I could tell you he's going to talk about sustainable island state, diversification. He's going to talk about the soon come projects that never come.
Let us give them a chance to state their claim and not taking the silent word, because they are not going out there for themselves. They are using the taxpayers' money, and they shall step up to the plate and give a report, failure or success. No more damn games, no more staying behind dark clouds. The dark clouds, by the blood of Jesus, I have blown it away. Come clean, people. Don't take no nonsense from these people. And every government should be held accountable for their works, because they are being put there for a purpose. And their purpose shall be meaningful and fruitful. Okay? No more games. People of St. Kitts and Nevis, I am talking from my heart. I am talking passionate. I am not angry. I am not loud. I am normal. Just wait until I come down and it comes in the federation. Okay? And no one gonna stop me. Okay? There are 11 seats so far in the constituency pending the boundary. But I will take on 10 at one time. I don't know how much you want to take on.
Caller, we have another caller. We have another
Yes,
caller.
I
want to say thank you for your contribution. And of course, if you're willing, you could assist me in constituency number 4 as we take that seat back to the People's Action Movement. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Unfiltered.
Okay, AZARD, let me get back in and just say one thing lastly before you get off.
Yes.
I want everybody to realize that over on the Nevis end, I'm putting a plug for Ras Banki. I'm putting a big plug for Ras Banki over on the Nevis Island. He has stated he will be running in that Charlestown district over there in the next federal election and possibly the local election after that.
Yes.
So Ras Banki, big up yourself, and much success to the eye.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Azal, man. You guys have a good night.
You too. Yes. So, yes, as we continue to speak about the Labour administration, and we know that the Prime Minister is going to have a press conference shortly. I know a lot of persons, they already know what the Prime Minister is going to talk about. We already know he's going to talk about sustainable island state. He's going to talk about diversification and another soon come project. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Unfiltered.
Yes, brother Azad. I probably might be a nuisance and interrupted, but I don't find it so. I'm speaking. I'm a voice for the people of St. Kitts, and I'm fighting like hell.
And your voice is necessary, and I hope that you could assist me in constituency number 4 whenever you...
Well, Mr. Azad, I already said to him, I will come on your platform.
Yes.
Because we are walking the same line. So I'm with you. We might be traveling a different path, but I don't mind crossing over on your part. And if it's so, we could do it vice versa. Because I don't like you, Mr. Azad. I love you. Okay?
Thank you.
So let me make that clear. Now, let me just hit this one. There is a plague. There is a dagger. They're digging the people of St. Kitts right now. And I haven't heard any politician address it. I'm the only one who is talking about it. You're familiar with the environmental levy?
Yes.
I am an advocate to abolish that. And even from since when that was tabled and become law and existing today, let me just give a brief of that. When a person interested in bringing in a car into the Federation, there are different levels of charges. A brand new car, most likely a dealer will bring in a brand new car. I mean, people bring in their new car. There is an environmental levy, which is 1,000, and that car has to be between 1 year of age. 2 years and over, no more than 3, is 2,500, right? Or 3,005. And 4 years and over is 5,000. Now, first of all, environmental levy is the pollution in the proper understanding of the exhaust that comes out of pipe. Okay? When they table that, and I'm going to tell you who was a firm introducer and backer of that law. Zaya Astafan. And he needs to step his ass out and make an explanation, because that was no sense. It was robbing the people. And I had the opportunity to speak to Daya. And he said it was the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, give them ideas to make money in the country. So, and that was not in its right spirit to charge that. If you are charging environmental levy, come out plain and say it is the pollution you all are paying for. You are endangering the ozone layer. It's a hazard. Okay? But there was no representation to do that. If you are going to charge environmental levy, which is pollution, okay? I'm not talking about internal pollution like when people jump their car in the bush. That is endangering the welfare of the country, because that's toxic, that's dumb. Okay? From one to the next. Mosquitoes, breeding ground for mosquitoes, rodents, you could name it.
Yes, Carlo.
But coming back to that, let me just finish this point, please.
Yes.
Coming back to that law should be abolished, and even to people who had paid into that. Because when a car comes into port, it has not even polluted the place yet. Okay? But why should you be paying $5,000, $3,500? Okay? And for a new car, have the apparatus to check the threshold that is allowed by the world standard. And it's simple. If a car is over-polluting, it's not roadworthy. It has to be fixed. Okay? Yes, there is a multi-point inspection for a car to be safe on the road. Brakes, tires, you name it. But let's deal with the pollution.
Yes.
No taxation without the representation. The Americans told the British that with the Boston Tea Party. And that sparked off a resentment and war. Okay?
Thank you so much
we
for
got
your
to stop that.
contribution,
I'm
Carlo.
representing the people.
Thank you for your
I
contribution.
need that to look into it.
Yes.
Those are things of vitalness. Save the people money and stop robbing. Stop robbing people to pay Paul. I will yield to that. I got more.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you,
Nguyen,
sir.
It has been, a very good evening. I mean,
Yes.
we've been discussing a number of issues.
Yes.
This Labour administration, I think that next week is going to be very interesting week,
Yes.
And because when these ministers come and present things to the people, we're able to see right through them, right through the deception, right through the photo opportunities, right through the fancy words. And so I look forward to hear what they're going to say. I mean, what they're going to bring to the table this week, because so far we've had almost 3 years of nothing.
Well, it extends a bit further for me. As one of the callers rightly said, they won by default last election,
Yes.
so it's a given. But prior to that, they've been doing the same thing. We're going to increase the PAP from 1,000 to 15, and it's just all been talks. They won, and it has just been talk. No action, promises, oh, this soon come and that soon come, and if it's in the MRI machine, it is something else, and it's something else. There is always something to talk about.
And for these press conferences, they put more effort in their attire than their delivery and content of whatever they're delivering to St. Kitts and Nevis.
Correct. And
it's a fashion show for them.
Politics supposed to be performance based.
Mm-hmm.
At coming to election, supposed to be when you're supposed to be gearing down and bringing out what you did for the past 5 years. Your action should have spoken for you for the last 5 years.
Yes.
And so if you gotta go remind somebody, hey, look, your child just get a splendid opportunity to go and showcase yourself out in the world because I did this and I did that, and I start enumerating everything that you did, you ain't do nothing. Yeah. If you gotta say, well, when I win again, if you give me a next opportunity, now is when I'm gonna take you serious.
Imagine Labour coming to the electorate, saying to the electorate, they fail to stimulate the economy. They fail to provide proper health care.
Yep.
They fail to address the concerns of the ordinary man and women. They fail to listen to the people. They fail to do everything that they said they would do. But give them another 5 years.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Absolutely not.
I think that the same song that they use, Get Rid of Them, could be very instrumental in pushing them out.
Well,
because we need to get rid of them.
That is, and what probably they don't understand is that people, you're dealing with a different generation, and there isn't that blind loyalty anymore. And understandable, they have certain people, like when I was canvassing the last election, and even now that I'm back out in my community, they have persons who come and say, "Boy, Nubian boy, I can't vote for Pam. I can't vote for Pam." But you can't vote for Pam because Kennedy Simmons do me something, Powell do me something, somebody did them something in the past, and sometimes nobody even do them anything. It's generation. Their father tell them that somebody for Pam or somebody for PLP or somebody for somebody did them something.
There's a person. There's someone here on the Facebook said, "Nubian, you were a candidate the last election, so what are you doing in your community?" Do you want to answer that?
Sure. I am back out in my community. I'm still the president of the Garden Hotspurs Football Club. I'm still closely linked with this school and the activities in this school. I'm still out there advocating for poor people and unfortunate persons in my community, still assisting in any way I can in my community, because there are persons out there who really, really need help, who really, really, really feel disillusioned by this administration and can't see a way out. And so my job now is to get creative and find creative means to help persons in my community with the little resources that I have.
Yeah.
And be able to recognize, like for the International Day of the Women, I went out and gave out plaques. I wish I had 100 plaques. I only gave out about 8 or 12 to a few persons, but there were so many other persons that really deserve it. Father's Day, Mother's Day, different World Cancer Day. We do a lot, and we try to keep a momentum up, because at the end of the day, I live in my community, and I know the problems facing my community, and I believe in my heart I can provide a different pathway. I could provide opportunities for persons in my community and in St. Kitts in general to become successful, provide avenues for their children to become successful. You know?
And the thing about it, you know what I really love about being someone who doesn't come from a wealthy family, doesn't come from a family whose name is seen, high up
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
ranking of
Yeah,
society.
you're not political pedigree. You ain't come from
Yes,
that
exactly.
thoroughbred family.
And it gives me so much uh, uh, because at the end of the day, how it feels like to build something from little,
From the
based
ground up.
on the support of your family alone,
Mm-hmm.
based on the encouragement of your family alone. You know how it feels to triumph,
Mm-hmm.
not because of um, not because of nepotism, not because of any godfather out there, but
Right.
through your own hard work and dedication.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something I want to extend to other people in St. Kitts and Nevis, other citizens, that it doesn't matter where you start,
Yes.
it's where you intend to go
Mm-hmm.
and what you do to get there, in terms of course, making sure it's, you put in the work. I often tell people that, it's hard to beat somebody who never gives up. And that is what I live by, never giving up. You might not be successful one time,
Right.
but you never give up on that dream, and never give up on that
Correct.
desire. And so it really warms my heart to know that, looking at other people, and coming from that space where, we all can achieve once we
Yes.
put in that work and dedication.
I'll be given that opportunity because I could speak to that for myself. Miss Rutlin Harris. I didn't know her from anywhere. She just saw me and took a liking to me and said, hey, listen, you got a lot of potential. I need you to do the X, Y, and Z. And I listened to her. She was far older than me. I listened to her. And I am where I am today, in part because of her, you
Yeah.
know? And me being here today is to give back what she gave me.
Yes.
Give back that opportunity to persons.
We have a caller. Caller, you live?
Um, yes, yes, sir. Once again, this will be my last call.
Yes.
Mr. Azard,
Yes.
and Mr. Nubian, I'm going to ask you a question. During the time of your political journey, did you had discouragement of people will be telling you, back out, stay out, back off, you're not going to get any votes, you're not going to be successful? Did you have those challenges? And how did you ingest and digest to be where you are now and continue moving forward ever and backward never? Have you had those kind of negativity?
Of course, at least
Well,
for me, yes,
Okay.
of course. I mean, there are always going to be persons who underestimate your capabilities, underestimate what you can do. You must first believe in yourself. If you have a desire to do better, not only for you but for others, you must put in the work. I have seen where just showing up and putting in the work transforms person's perception of you. I don't think it's often said that talent, hard work beats talent when talent fails to put in the work. And so I continue to put in the work. I continue to take no stone, leave no stone unturned. I don't take anything for granted, because easily what you have built could be taken away. So you always have to put in the work.
Well, for me, I've had that all my life, yeah. But my political journey wasn't inspired by a need for popularity. I do believe in some aspects I've always been popular. It was never fueled by greed or wanting money.
Fortune or faith.
Right.
Fortune or faith.
It was always fueled by what I was doing even prior to my political journey. I've always been active in my community. I've always been reaching out to the youths. I've always wanted to give back to my community. And that is where my political journey started, and in doing for my community what somebody else did for me, because I would never sit here and say, yeah, I was a genius and I was a talent and I just figured out all this all by myself. I had help. People saw me when I didn't believe in myself back then and said, boy, yeah, you got talent, come, do this and do that. And I took the guidance, and this is where I'm at today. And it is even more fueled at this point in time in seeing that persons could be given opportunities. Persons could be out there building a life for themselves, but this administration is not giving them that opportunity. When I look at even, not to even stray, even look at the scholarship system. When we went to Cuba, our contingency was the largest, and it was 36. And when we reached up into Cuba, we were still the smallest. And have persons here who would go and try to get scholarships, and the government would turn them down. And every other Caribbean country sending up hundreds of persons to get free scholarship to study and come back and make a life for themselves. And we seems to have this crab in a barrel hold on mentality. Send off the people them, send them to study, send them off, send them, push them, give them the opportunity, and let it be upon them to fail. Go and say, look, I give you the opportunity, just put in the work. Instead of turning down people here. Right now we send 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, while other countries in the Caribbean, the same size like us, sending hundreds. How does that make sense?
You know, and
Well,
With the dances?
and you see,
very good.
Give people the opportunity. Give people the opportunity. Give
Exactly.
people the opportunity. Put politics aside. As soon as the day after the election, put politics aside.
you're working for the country.
I went out
Right.
on the International Women's Day, and I gave Labour people plaques. I gave PAM people. I gave people who don't vote. I gave everybody, because it wasn't International Labour Women's Day or International PAM Women's Day. It was International Women's Day. And so once you're doing good in the community, you will be recognized.
Yes.
And that's
I
what
have
it is
another
for me.
question.
The day after election is over, we know who win, we know who lose. Let's put the country
Exactly.
first.
We must put the country first, and we must build. And you know, as you speak, I'm reminded of my time in youth parliament. So I remember being a member at the age of 14 and being able to debate national issues in the National Assembly.
Right.
And at the age of 14, I didn't fully understand at that point in time what I was doing. I remember debating for the first time and not wanting to go back to school, thinking that this is it. You know, I found what I wanted to do, but
Right.
without actually knowing how to get there. And it's only after a few years and you understand, you know, this is something in which, you know, is a profession whereby your profession could be assisting others,
Yes,
creating laws
yes.
that would benefit the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, creating opportunity that would benefit the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, that would put St. Kitts and Nevis in a better light, in a better
Do you see what happened
circumstance.
if it doesn't warm your heart to see your fellow man get through, you don't belong in politics.
And you know, the thing about it too, right? There are some clients, because, you know, as a lawyer, you represent people, and as a politician, you represent people. There are some persons at the end of a matter, they will say to me, thank you. And at the end of the day, I think to myself, you know, well, you paid for the service. But
Right.
the very fact that even after paying for the service, they come to me and say, thank you so much. You have done this, you have done that. It's an overwhelming experience and feeling that, you know, that somebody, maybe the little that you do, appreciate it so much.
No. Hold on there, Carlo. Just let me make one last point, and I'll allow you to continue.
I hear you.
You see, we just always try to fit square pegs in round hole. Now, you're a lawyer. If somebody at the airport call you and tell you, well, the pilot seems as though he drank too much rum last night, he's unable to fly. And they tell you, well, AZARD will come fly the plane. And AZARD decide, boy, I don't watch plane fly on TV a lot of time. Before I go fly the plane, and the plane crash, can they blame you? Nobody can blame you, because you're not a pilot. So we always go and pick persons who have no prior experience or knowledge or even zeal or zest in giving back to the community. They haven't prior to the election or even before that, none of them has any track record or history of giving back in the community, serving the people. So then you give them the highest office in the land and expect them now to all of a sudden fly a plane. And
Care
it
for
won't
people.
happen. You asking them to care for people. Not only care for people, care for the nation. You can't go back into your community and care for 50 people. But no, we expect you to go on a national platform and care for 50,000 people. It won't happen.
And then there are some persons who say that they only would come into politics if it is that they are given monies to run. And I said to myself, anybody who has to be given monies to represent the people of St. Kitts and Nevis in the electoral office need not be there.
Wrong
Because
reason.
your heart must be there. Your desire to serve persons must be first and foremost.
Yes.
Because there are going to be rough days when you feel tired, you feel exhausted, and it is only the passion and love for service
Will
that
keep
is
you
going to
going.
keep you. You know, so when I hear ministers of government now in this administration saying that they got to increase their salary to avoid corrupt practices, I say, where was the love of country when you accepted the job?
Yes.
Where was the love of country when you put yourself forward?
Yes.
That you have to increase your salary to avoid corrupt practices.
Yes.
Well, if it is that the salary wasn't enough when you accepted the job, because you know what the salary would have been, the salary is no secret.
Yes.
And so when you accepted the job, you knew what the salary was. And so it appears that they accepted the job with the intention of as soon as we reach it, we increase it.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's what they did.
Because really and truly, for me, Labour didn't expect to win. So when you won and you don't have a plan after that, then anything is permissible after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we have said much this evening. I mean, so many things have been rest on our hearts. I mean, we only want St. Kitts and Nevis to be a better place. Is there any final words you'd like to share with the persons listening? Well, final words for this episode this evening.
Yeah, there is a lot. There is a lot to take into consideration between now and the next election. They'll always say, fool me once, shame on you. But if you could fool me twice, then the problem ain't you, the problem is me.
Yes.
And what we must take into consideration is that after that decision is made on election day, you can't reverse it for the next 5 years.
Yes.
So if you have a child coming out of school, 18 years old, can't find a job, that might continue and persist until the next 5 years after.
We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Unfiltered.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, this question going straight to Nubian, man. Yeah, I'm trying to find out if when he ran for Unity, when he ran with Unity, well, actually I guess that was under the Timothy Harris, right, umbrella. When he was on that ticket, I want to try to find out if monies was exchanged or was that something that he did genuinely. And I'll keep it there for now, man. Have a good night. Thanks.
No monies was exchanged, none whatsoever. To go in my pocket, there is campaign funds. It was a short election, so we had monies to execute stuff for the campaign, for canvassing, for the canvassers, setting up offices and what's not. But outside of that, there was
We have a caller.
no monies
Okay,
passed.
we have a caller. Caller, you're live on Unfiltered.
Yes, I got cut off pertaining to the question that I had asked you, Mr. Azard, and Nobby.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I listen to you, I know Bian. I would like people to listen to me because it seems like both of you are in line, and I am in line too. But let me just say this. I personally have a passion for the service of the people. It's not me, okay? I am in the United States right now, and you guys are down there to pound the pavement. But we are singing the same chorus, the same song. Moving forward to be more harmonious. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm a tight child. Now, I stand for correction. I know you got my back. No, listen. I am not a citizen of the United States. I am a resident. And when I take into consideration the way things were going in St. Kitts, I felt passionate for the people. And I suppressed my citizenship. Today I could have been a citizen. But I premeditated hold off a citizenship because I would not be caught caught up in that Brian Clark. Okay? And I have my feeling about Mr. Brian Clark and my colleague in North Carolina from Mavis, Cotton Ground. He's a strong advocate for that. And I second the motion, third that motion. Now, my goal is not to get rich because remember, when we were born, what is mankind life expectancy? Let's speak about the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Between 70, 80, and in between, before that, the act of God may come in, sickness, okay? And some of us might be fortunate to sustain money. But guess what? Our money doesn't mean anything because when a sickness comes down on us, can our money save us? In some short order, yes. What?
That's true, caller. And we are almost out of time. I want to thank you for calling in and sharing your views and your passion. Is something that we look forward to working with individuals who share like passion, like views. That's how we build our nation. That's how we do better as people of St. Kitts and Nevis, as leaders of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Give me a call. Give me a call. I need to talk to you off the record.
Okay.
Nobody knows me and you too. You just gave me and I just hear you for the first time. But I yield to the program. I respect the duration of time. Thank you for having me. And God bless the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
And we will never stop.
Yes. God bless you as well.
Okay.
Yes. So I just want to say, today we stand before the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, deeply concerned about the state of our beloved federation under the leadership of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. It is clear that this administration has failed to live up to its promises, and the people of the nation are suffering as a result. We were promised progress, but what have we received? Mismanagement, broken promises, and a government that is out of touch with the struggles of the everyday citizens. Our economy is stagnant. Our healthcare system is crumbling, and opportunities for young people are disappearing before our eyes. Instead of focusing on real solutions, this government has been more concerned about their travel and their salaries. The Labour Party came into power with grand speeches about transparency and accountability, yet corruption and favoritism and nepotism continue to plague our federation. They assure us of economic stability, yet the cost of living is rising, businesses are struggling, and hard-working citizens are barely making ends meet. We leadership, we as the vision. Enough is enough. Our people deserve better. We need a government that works for the people, not against them. We need policies that create jobs, strengthen our economy, and provide real support for families. It is time for change. And I assure that we, the People's Action Movement, are ready to lead that change under the leadership of Natasha Shani Gray Brooks. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis deserve competent leadership that listens, that acts, and that puts the country first. The Labour Party has had its chance, and it has failed. Now is the time for us to rebuild, restore trust, and move this nation forward. I do want to thank everyone who listened to this program, who called in, who wrote on the Facebook page, persons who continue to encourage us to keep this government accountable. It doesn't matter what they say about us. It doesn't matter what tricks they use to try to silence us. We will continue to speak on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Have a pleasant evening. Good night, everyone.
It's time for Unfiltered. Join AZARD GUMBS, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on WIN FM. Join AZARD GUMBS as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on WIN FM 98.9.
And in a serious dilemma, now that the country, Lord, this can end in a serious dilemma, now that the country been run by labor, this pure mayhem, scandal, disorder, with this labor party.